JJ the CPA here, hope you're doing well. So what's better, PPP or ERTC? Well, if you are literally having to pick one or the other, it would be PPP. Why? Well, PPP, you don't have to pay back, and PPP has no tax effect. So it's not considered income and it does not reduce down any of your expenses. So it's a ollie oxen free. And in fact, given the fact that you're getting the money, you're not having to pay tax on it, and whatever you spend it on, you get to deduct, you're getting a double dip. You're getting money that's tax free that you then, as you spend it on business expenses that qualify, you are able to deduct those expenses. When you're looking at the employee retention tax credit, if you're looking at an either or, the employee retention tax credit is, yes, great stimulus. But whatever it is that you receive in your employee retention tax credit, it is a reduction in wages. It's a reduction of your deductions. Many are not paying attention to that. I've been talking about it since the beginning. Everybody's excited about the ERTC, and they should. And because you have the tax effect of the ERTC, does not mean you shouldn't get the ERTC, but you have to take it into consideration, especially if you're determining, are you wanting to use wages for PPP or ERTC? So we know that you can only use wages for one benefit at a time as it relates to a tax credit or for PPP. What many are not paying attention to is that it's not per pay period. It's literally down to that compensation to that employee for, in essence, that 1 minute or that 15 minutes or that hour or that day. Are you using it for PPP or are you using it for ERTC or the sick and family paid leave credits or any of the other credits that come about? But because of the new employee retention tax credit in the sense of the calculation in 2021, and given that it is now for all 4 quarters, you're definitely going to be potentially in circumstances, you as an advisor or you with your business, where potentially you're going to have a lot of wages that could qualify for the employee retention tax credit in 2021, more than you thought, which then potentially eats on wages you'd be able to use for PPP forgiveness. So a simple example of that is that I have a client and they're down for first quarter by at least 20% here in 2021 compared to the correlating quarter in 2019. So all the wages for this very small business are going to count for quarter one for the ERTC. Now, of course, the wages are up to $10,000 per employee for the quarter. The credit is 70%. But for this client, okay, all of the wages that were paid out qualify. So all of the wages for quarter one are being used for ERTC purposes because none of the employees had more than $10,000 of compensation in quarter one. And this is a business where the owner doesn't really work in the business at all. And so there is very minimal amount of wage to the owner because the owner just doesn't ever do anything. The owner's never there. The owner does zero, nothing. So all the wages that are there for first quarter can be used for ERTC purposes. So what we had to do is look carefully. Okay, so if we're using all the wages for first quarter for ERTC, then the wages that we are looking at for the remainder of the covered period, is there going to be enough wages to at least cover the 60% need for payroll forgiveness for PPP? And if they have at least 60%, well, do they have enough other expenses, rent, utilities, interest, to make up the difference to achieve full PPP forgiveness? So the purpose of this video is to let you know that PPP is better than ERTC. I've got a seminar that I did, and I'll give you a link where you can check it out, but I do an analysis in that seminar and I have a worksheet in Excel where I show it dollar for dollar in black and white, the economic value of PPP versus ERTC. So let me be clear. You should get ERTC, but if it's going to reduce down PPP forgiveness, well, then you would want to yield those wages first to PPP forgiveness. So know this, achieve full forgiveness for PPP with the wages that are needed to get to full forgiveness, because that's the better economic value. Then the wages, in essence, that are left over, you can use for ERTC. But the benefit here is the IRS and the SBA have made it so crystal clear that you get to choose. It's not you use PPP first and then ERTC, or you have one or the other, or all of the employees have to be PPP and then all of the employees ERTC. You can slice it and dice it any which way works best for you and your business. So even in this circumstance, even if we go, okay, yeah, we're going to go ahead and use all those wages in first quarter for ERTC. But on the analysis, we go, well, for the remainder of when they got PPP through the end of that covered period, the wages that will be after that point should be able to match up and get full forgiveness, as well as the fact that they'll have plenty of rent and interest and utilities to help make up the difference. So you have a 24 covered week period, and for the full 24 weeks, rent and utilities and interest is going to be included. Well, for this first part of the covered period up until March 31st, any wages are being used for ERTC. So from April 1st through the end of the covered period, those wages plus the other expenses for the entire time are going to get full forgiveness. If your head's swimming a little bit, then you need to check out my seminar. You get instant access to it. I have a PDF that goes along with the seminar. You get 2 of them. I've got over 15 hours of video. There is a bunch of how-to mini videos in there. I give you an Excel spreadsheet on how to calculate the ERTC in 2020 and in 2021, how to prepare Form 7200, how to prepare 941X. I have separate videos for those. I give you the calculations on how to calculate and break out the payroll and how to include the health insurance. I include also an Excel spreadsheet on doing the gross receipts analysis. We know that it's a reduction in 20% for 2021. It is 50% for 2020. I talk through the number of employees and the significance of that in 2021 and 2020 in terms of what rules apply. Talking also about the ways you qualify if your business was closed, and essential businesses qualify. A lot of people just think essential businesses don't qualify. They do all day long, and I walk you through that. So the IRS has come out with more information, and I've included that in that. So you'll get instant access to the seminars that I've done, where you can watch them, follow along, and get the PDF PowerPoint. You're going to get all these additional videos. You're going to get the worksheets. You're going to get the how-tos. Very all-encompassing. So check out the link to go and get access to that seminar ASAP. You pay for it, you get it. It's $197, and there's no way you don't get way more. If you have employees, there's no way you don't get way more of a credit once you take my seminar. So, all right, hey, thanks for tuning in. I'd love it if you'd subscribe, and then don't you ever forget, you've never met a CPA quite like me.